Hello, hello. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Welcome on in. Hope everybody can hear me okay. We'll wait just a couple minutes here. Let everybody get on in and get situated, and then we'll get things underway. I'm super excited to have everybody in tonight. I think we're going to raise some eyebrows and get you moving in the right direction for multifamily. If you have any idea about it, if you don't, doesn't really matter. We're going to walk through it in some nice detail and then open it up to some Q&A for all of you to ask questions as we go through it. We do have my team monitoring the chats. So I want to make sure that you have access to all that. You should be able to chat in the system. I'm going to test it out with a hello. But yeah, go ahead and chime in kind of where you are coming from. And if you're East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, where are you chiming in from? We'll give everybody just a couple minutes to come on in. So Atlanta. All right, beautiful. Love Atlanta. We're looking at some deals. There's one down in Trifton and Albany in Georgia that we're looking at, and some other stuff. So definitely like that. But beautiful. North Carolina, David, good to see you in here. Love it. Arizona, hello. Arizona's awesome. Phoenix, Tucson, where in Arizona? We got NYC. Very cool. Awesome, everybody chiming in, so beautiful. Obviously tonight what we're going to be going over is buying apartments in the next 90 days and limiting your out-of-pocket and how you would actually do it. I will be showcasing an example deal of one of our students. I'll also be going through a deal that I've done. We'll have some little motivational stuff going on in here as well too, because half the battle is dealing with the 7 inches between your ears, as we all say, because a lot of times that tends to hold us back. Even though we know we need to go, we tend to over paralysis by analysis, and then we hold ourselves from going, kind of getting off the cliff and making things happen. It's very common. I dealt with it. Pretty much everybody does. It's a very common thing, but we need to get through that and find out, where's that deep why for you as to how we get you to the next level that you want to go, because you know where you want to go. It's just, how can we use multifamily, other investing and stuff to get you to where you want to go? So perfect. Phoenix, Arizona, Austin, Texas, OC. Wait a minute. Is there another Brennan in here? That's first name though. Brennan Angel. I'm Justin Brennan. You're Brennan Angel. I like that. Beautiful. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. We'll let everybody kind of roll on in here. 1 second here. Let me make sure that there we go. So now we should be ready. Cool. All right. Rock and roll. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So how to buy an apartment building in the next 90 days. And I'm going to show you kind of 20,000 bucks out of pocket or even less, and how you actually leverage this beautiful thing called OPM, other people's money, to go and make this happen. And we're going to break it down. I'm going to show you a deal. I'm going to break down the finances of it, how you find, analyze, raise the capital and finance, close the escrow, and manage these deals from in-state or out-of-state, meaning afar. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, has anybody ever played this game? The game of money. Does anybody know? And I'm going to actually, before we do that, I'm going to put up a poll real quick. Because I'd like to know why you are all here tonight. So you're going to see this up in your poll real quick. Is it passive income? Is it retirement, generational wealth? You can pick, I think, multiples in there, scaling big and doing X, Y, Z. So go ahead and chime on in there why you are here tonight. What is the main reason for wanting to look at all this stuff? Want to get out of the single family, scaling big and becoming a multimillionaire? Love it. Building retirement, generational wealth, passive income, getting more time with family. That's definitely always a hot topic, right? Because that's what we have. We have time. I mean, that's what money gives you, is choices of time. The financial freedom game, the generational wealth game, all these things that people talk about, At the end of the day, time, as we know, is both a liability and an asset. And how do you spend your time and how you utilize your time is going to dictate what you do. And how you surround your people, or you surround yourself with people, and the time that you have is going to be critical to your success, both personally, professionally, spiritually, and health and wellness. Okay. So awesome. Ending that poll, I'm going to share the results with you so you can see that real quick. And then let's get on to the money game. Okay. So money is just that. Okay. It is a game. Has anybody ever seen this illustration before? Creators versus contributors. Chime up, thumb down if you've ever heard of this. Creators versus contributors. Creators versus contributors. Thumb up, thumb down if you've ever heard of this before. No, you have not. Beautiful. Well, this is going to go like you're going to love this, because this was presented to me about a year ago. And I knew this, but I didn't know how it actually was illustrated and how it actually shows up in the United States economy. Because if you want to understand how the rich are getting rich and sometimes the not rich are staying not rich, it's because you're either a contributor or you're a creator. You're a contributor or you're a creator in the United States economy. And when you realize that our beautiful thing called IRS and Uncle Sam, okay, they love creators and they don't like contributors per se. Okay, and I'm going to explain and illustrate this for you. So in the United States economy, you have creators and contributors. Creators are 1099s, entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, okay, people that are creating products or services into the marketplace at which contributors consume. So if you are a W-2 employee collecting a Friday paycheck and you work for someone, okay, you are a contributor. You are buying the products and services from the creators, consuming it, and then the money leaves your pocketbook and it goes over to the pocketbooks of the creators. And then the creators use your money to create more products and services to sell back to you, and then you consume more of it and you do this. And then they get super rich and you get okay. Creators and contributors. That is the United States economy in a nutshell. The IRS loves them and not love very much contributors. Why? Because you don't move enough money for them. Movement of money, right? And this is where the whole game of OPM comes in, other people's money. If you move a lot of money in the US economy, the IRS loves you. Why? Because you're creating, right, wealth. You're moving money. You go buy real estate, movement of a lot of money. And there's a lot of players and actors in that transaction of moving and buying and selling real estate. Everybody's making money. You're moving lots of money. The IRS is going to love you. And why? Because they're going to give you tax breaks. Okay? If you're a creator, business owner, entrepreneur, investor, you get the most amount of tax breaks available in the United States economy, period. If you are a contributor, a W-2, just collecting a paycheck, which is totally fine, by the way, you're not going to get as many tax breaks. And the IRS is not going to benefit you as much because you're not moving enough money and creating enough opportunity and wealth in the US economy by the eyes of the IRS. Therefore, they're going to limit your tax breaks. You get the basic ones, which is why you're, child credit, this credit, that credit, the basic tax, right? And then you're paying the most through your paycheck every single week or month. And that's how the game works. And then all that's happening is the creators are creating products and services, you're consuming them, the money's leaving your pocketbook, going over this pocketbook and recreating itself, and they're getting bling bling, and they have financial freedom, they have time, they have all the things that everybody wants and is here for tonight. Okay? And this is why you're here. This is why you're here. It's to get to the financial freedom. It's to get to the time. It's to get to the stuff. So that's why you're considering investing, right? Create a business, do investing, become an entrepreneur, you're a creator. And because of that, tax breaks, products and services, boom. And that's how you can get rich. Okay. Otherwise, as you know, you're going to sit in a cubicle in an office the remainder of your life, which is totally fine, by the way, if you're totally cool with that. But then don't complain why they're getting all the benefits here. You just have to understand how the US economy and capitalism is designed. Does that make sense at all to anybody, or did I just blow, any thoughts of it away from you? I'm just curious. This presentation was given to me a year ago, and I was like, Like I knew it, but I didn't know it this way. So once it was explained and kind of illustrated, it opened my mind to a lot of things. So, no, Jarrett, this is live. It's Tuesday night. It's Justin Brennan, but thank you. I love that. Yeah, we are live, baby. When you do these Tuesday lives, it's me in real time. So no weird AI chat bots and weird stuff going on. But thank you for putting that up. I love that. Cool. Okay, creators and contributors. Creators and contributors. Thumbs up. It sounds like everybody gets that. Everybody gets it. Beautiful. Okay, let's keep moving on. This is going to be another little exercise for you. Does anybody know who Patrick Bet-David is? Patrick Bet-David. It's kind of a big guy in the, I guess, media space and other things, right? Anyhow, I was down at a conference a year ago in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, and he pulled this up on the screen and he had everybody do this exercise. Because once again, I'm trying to get you out of, right, between the ears. The 7 inches between your ears is the only thing stopping you from where you're at and where you want to go. It's the only thing. And you know it. It's just a matter of having consistent discipline. So in order to get to that consistent discipline, there has to be drivers inside of you, well beyond the pursuit of money. Money's great. It gives you that ability to have choices in your daily life. Do you get up and have to go to a job, or do you get up and have a cup of coffee and then see the money coming in your bank accounts, right? It gives you the choices to do that, but money is only going to drive you so far. You have to have internal drivers. And so he put this up, the 7 mountains, right, that move nations and inspire people. So I'm going to ask you right now, I'm going to put up this poll. Okay. What are I'm going to launch this right now. So put it in, chime in, and you can pick multiples here, right? Select multiples. Pick 3 or 4. 3 or 4 of these that are most inspirational to you. Okay. I'm really, really curious about this, because this is going to be really, really, really important for you if you're going into multifamily investing, if you're going into any real estate investing, if you're going to start a business, if you're doing anything outside of your W-2 job, and you have to have passion and drive and consistent discipline. This is what's going to get you across the finish line, and every single day move you to get your butt out of bed and make stuff happen. Okay. Really, really, really key. Love it. And family, by the way, also means philanthropy. It's not just your personal family, but it could be giving back, helping others, leaving a legacy. So that passion of giving back and helping others, it's a huge driver for people well beyond just their individual family. Okay. So keep that one in mind. Business, love it. Education, sports. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share it with you so you can all see. So the big ones are the education, business, and family. And then let's see, media had a small one. Okay. Beautiful. And it makes sense because you have to have a successful business first, because that's going to give you then the choices with money, right, to go off and do things of giving back, helping others, right, giving to your family, right, and being the person in your family, transitional character, whatever it is, the first person to become a millionaire, all of that stuff. So business, family, education meaning teaching and helping others, because that's how it's designed. When you're educating and helping others, right, kind of like what we're doing here tonight. Right? I get fulfillment out of giving back and helping others, creating a community of well-trained investors around the country who are doing deals together. Hence the reason we created multifamily school, community mentorships, all the stuff we do. It's to create that community of collaboration so everybody's winning, right? So educating and getting people really, really, really good at this is critical to your success. So awesome. I'm going to stop sharing that. Cool. Beautiful. So that was a cool exercise. So as I've mentioned before, why we are here tonight, I'm going to train you on some things, but I'm also showcasing the multifamily schooled community, because partnerships and collaboration in multifamily, OPM, other people's money, and leveraging that collaboration and partnership is how you grow. That's how you're going to get to buying a multifamily building, 10, 20, 30, 40 unit deal in the next 90 days with as little as $20,000 out of pocket. It's not going to be on your own. Okay, it's not going to be just showing up and writing checks and all that stuff. You have to collaborate in partnerships, and multifamily is the #1 way to do it. Okay. The other thing I want to show you, and maybe I don't know if people know this. Okay. And I should have done a poll for this. Do you know the 4 ways, and actually 5 ways, that you get paid when you do and buy a multifamily building? I'm curious. Chime in the chat. Okay. if you know the 4 or 5 ways that you get paid in a multifamily transaction in ownership. Number 1, I'll explain that in a second. And then the big number 5 that nobody really understands or knows how to leverage correctly is taxes. Okay. And then there's actually a few others, but we'll touch on that in just a second. Okay. So let's say you went and flipped a house, or you wholesaled a house, or you did other types of real estate investing. Typically, you're getting paid once. You flip a house, you sell it, you get a profit. You wholesale, you get an assignment fee, one time, done. And then you're back at it, transactional hamster wheel. So rather than owning a business, you simply own a job. Now you can create a business with it, and that's great. And we do flip homes still, but understand it's a transactional game. You're not creating this passive generational wealth. You're creating a transactional, you can earn a lot of money with it, but it's just transactional. So that's the difference. With a multifamily building, you get paid multiple times. An acquisition fee, typically 2 to 3% of the purchase price. You get cash flow, typically 30% to 40% of the deal, cash flow, okay? Asset management, typically 1 to 2% of the revenue every month. That's different than the property management fee. Asset management, okay? Profits, typically 30% to 40% of the profits of the deal. Taxes, you're going to do, and we've talked about this, and we'll talk about it more, accelerated depreciation, cost segregation analysis on all of these commercial assets to offset taxes. Okay, it's not about what you make in this world, it's about what you keep. And we talked about the money game, right? Contributors and creators. If you're a creator, hence this, the IRS loves you. As a result, they're going to give you the most benefits in taxes because you're creating wealth and you're moving money and you're moving lots of it. And because you're doing that, they love you. They're going to give you all the benefits. But why do they do that? It's not because they're good-willed. Think about it. If you're taking this, earning millions of dollars, and then repositioning and moving that money in society, in the U.S. economy, you're earning more wealth. It's not that the IRS isn't going to get theirs. They're just delaying it until you get wealthier. And at some point, they're going to get theirs. That's all that's happening is you're avoiding it now to grow your wealth because the money's better in your pocket to grow wealth now. So that way you have it for later in life. And then you can play the game of avoidance later. But the IRS is going to get theirs. And they're going to get a piece of a much bigger pie if they keep promoting you and giving you the tax benefits to do that. It's not like they're goodwill. They're just trying to get the most amount of money. And they realize, hey, we need to benefit you now, right? To allow you to do that. So therefore, we'll get a piece of a bigger pie later. That's why the IRS is giving you tax benefits, not because they truly love you. It's because they realize, hey, we need to capitalism, right? Move money through society, create wealth, earn, take. And that's how the whole game works. Okay. Yeah, Kevin had chimed in. I thought that was good. So cash flow, appreciation, asset management fees, sales proceeds, acquisitions. Yeah, you're pretty dead on. Pretty dead on. Pretty dead on. I like that. So these are the 4 ways in 5 that you're getting paid. And there's also some side ones too sometimes, right? There's a dispo fee. I mean, there's all kinds. There's a refi fee. No, we don't charge any of those. We're not going to get into them tonight. But just understand, conceptually, the reason you're doing this is because multifamily gets paid multiple times. Multifamily is paid multiple times, okay? That's why you're doing it. You're not in it for the simple transactional game. You're in it for the long haul to earn lots of money over time and get tax benefits while you're doing it, okay? So awesome. So let me put that back. Beautiful. So how to buy apartments. Has anybody ever seen this before? Because these are the 5 pillars that we teach and we coach on how to buy apartments. And it doesn't matter whether it's a 2-unit duplex or a 100-unit complex, same process. You have to find them. You have to know how to analyze them, how to finance them with debt and equity, close escrow on them, and manage them once you own them. It is those 5 pillars in that order. And there's a lot of nuance in between them, of course, and we can't go into all of it this evening, but just understand that these are the main plays. So in terms of finding, we're going to talk about that. In terms of analyzing, we're going to talk about that. The financing and capital and structure, we're going to talk about that. Those are the main ones we're going to hit on tonight, and I'll briefly touch on these, and then I'm going to open it up to some Q&A as we're going through some of these deals, okay? Fair enough? Any questions so far other than that? Hope everybody's having fun. Super excited to have everybody in here. Cool. Love it. So let's get into finding deals. This is really key because there's a lot of gurus online teaching things, and it's cute. It's just not realistic. Okay, so I'm going to lay it out for you tonight. No bullshit. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how you can execute and do it within 90 days or less if you choose, and actually be reasonable in this process with limited out-of-pocket capital. Okay, and not obloviate on what you can hope and pray do. Because you have a lot of people out there telling you go big on your first deals, right? 50+ unit deals, go big. In theory, they're right. In reality, it's never going to happen. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, listen, you literally have a better chance if you don't have any experience and you're newer to this and you don't have a partner that has the experience. You literally have a better chance of breaking into the White House. I kid you not. You can go break into the White House before you can go get a 50+ unit deal with no or little experience. The reason why is because when you get into that space of 50+ units, you're dealing with much more sophisticated brokers who are not going to give you the time of day or return your phone call. You're also going to be dealing with more sophisticated sellers. They're not going to even touch you if you have no experience. You're also going to deal with more sophisticated lenders giving you money. Ain't going to happen if you have no experience at that level. So you're literally peeing up a rope and trying to get into the White House. It's just not going to happen. So let's keep it real and show you where you can execute and do it relatively quickly. Okay. So you're going to be focusing in the 10 to 30 unit category. You could do up to 50, sure. But this is going to be your sweet spot. And the reason why is because of the capital side of it, the financing and capital, where everybody gets stuck and bottlenecked. I'm going to show you how you can do this, okay, and make it real, because I want you to get an outcome. We want to teach you how to get an outcome and get it as fast as possible in the least amount of headaches, fast amount of time, okay? 10 to 30 units. You can use LoopNet. You can use Crexy.com. I don't care what marketplace you go to, but I'm going to showcase how you leverage the on-market opportunities to get access to the off-market brokers. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay. So this is Crexy.com. I went ahead this evening and pulled up Ohio and Indiana. Okay, just for fun. And I started going through looking at some deals, and it's like, the point I'm trying to make you leveraging on to get to the off is really, really, really critical. Okay. If you were to take, once you understand how the commercial game works, you'll realize this. Okay. If you were to take 10 deals, okay, 4 of them are on this website. Okay. 6 of them never made it to the website because they sold pre-market. Not necessarily off-market, pre-market. Once you understand the flow of how the game works, broker calls the seller, they get everything teed up, they get the listing. At that point in time, pre-market, they already have a pitch deck together, an operating memorandum. They put it together, they send it out to their little database of friends and other investors, right? Creators, investors, and say, hey, here's the deal that's coming to market. Take a first look at it before we go live. And they'll underwrite it. They'll look at it. If it makes sense, they'll make offers. It'll sell pre-market. Pre-market. Vast majority of the time. So if you took 10 deals, 40% on the websites, 60% never make it there. So now the question becomes, how do I get access to that? Because the ones here, the reason they're on the websites, all these properties you're looking at, literally on the screen, all of them, overpriced. That is the only reason they're on the website, is because they never sold here. So they're on the website to say, hey, what kind of moron can pay our price? It's basically what they're saying, which is never going to happen. Because if you underwrite every single one of these deals, I literally guarantee you with a 95% accuracy, all of them won't make sense. Now, that doesn't mean they won't sell. You just have to negotiate. But just realize that from day one, most of these deals will pencil. From day one, these ones on the websites won't. You're going to have to work your way back, and you'll see how many sell, don't sell. Does that make sense? We're going to talk about analyzing in just a minute, but I want to understand the finding part of it. So you're going to leverage the websites like that to see what brokers are doing deals in the marketplace. Take a few of them, 2 to 3 of them. Okay. So Crexy.com, on to off. You're going to find 3 properties, and then you're going to find 3 brokers. Okay. So I could literally go onto that website and I could find 3 properties. It doesn't matter if they make sense. It's irrelevant. You're using them as lures. It's like fishing in the water. Hey, Mr. Broker, I'm taking a look at your property in 123 East Street. Very interesting. Are you guys doing tours yet? Doing tours when? You taking tours? Okay, great. So I'm going to set up a tour to look at the property. I'm going to analyze it. That's another part we're going to talk about. I've already analyzed it. I know the numbers don't make sense, or they do. I need to tour the property because by doing that, I'm creating a connection. It's like anything. Commercial real estate, more than anything, is a good boys and good old girls cowboy club. And that's how the deals get done. It is not Zillow and Trulia and Redfin and all those websites. It is still close to the vest, free market, 60+% of the time, at least. So you have to build a little rapport, and you can use their listings because they're telling you, hey, look at me. I'm listing properties and I'm active in the market. Great. So now I'm going to make a little rapport. Now I'm going to get access to your pre-market deals by way of rapport, because that deal may not make sense on the website. That's okay. It's no different. Let me give you a perfect example. When we went in out of state for the first time, it was a 27-unit deal in Kansas City, Missouri. That deal specifically was a pre-market deal, but I got access to these pre-market deals by way of 3 different brokers in Kansas City, Missouri, calling them, setting up a tour. I flew out there literally for 2 days. Toured the properties, met with a couple of property management crews. The property management crews gave me access to the construction crews, had a little team of people within that 2 to 3 day window, started now getting access to the pre-market deals because none of the on-market ones made sense. But by getting access now to these pre-market ones, now I started to find deals that made sense. First one was a 27 unit, next one was a 31 unit, next one was a 30 unit, all within that region. And that happened pretty quickly. So that's how it goes down. So hope that makes sense. Beautiful. We're going to keep moving on. So what initiates a good deal, right? If you're going to say, well, you throw things into a deal analyzer, Excel deal analyzer, whatever it may be, how do I know if it's a good deal or not? What things am I looking for? What metrics am I looking at to see whether or not it's a good deal? Okay. There's a lot of them, but to keep it simple from a high level, you're going to focus here. Internal rate of return, that is like an annual rate of return in some way. You want that to equal 14 to 20% a year on your money. So that way, think about this for a minute. If you're buying a property and it's getting you 14 to 20% a year on your money in the deal, okay, yours is going to be more as the general partner. I'll show you that in a minute. But your investors that may come into the deal, right? That's where their returns are at. Their cash on cash returns, 6 to 10%. Their equity multiple of 1.8 or more, meaning if I give you $100,000, I get $180,000 back. Okay. If I get 100,000, I get 180 back. If it's 200 in, 200 out. So that's an equity multiple. And this is for your investors, because if you want to attract money, raise capital, the whole game of raising capital, you hear that all the time. There's plenty of people out there trying to teach how to raise capital, but you have to have a deal first. Because if you don't have a good deal that meets certain metrics, you're not raising any money. I mean, it's no different if I came to you, everybody here on this call. If I came to you and I said, hey, look at this 20-unit deal and the returns are 9% a year and your cash on cash is 4.2% and your equity multiple, you're going to give me 100 grand, you're going to get 60 grand back plus your initial investment. You'd be like, what kind of risk? Okay, the risk seems too high for that kind of lower returns. Why don't I just keep it in the stock market or put it into something else that I feel better about or safer about, less risky, right? So risk-adjusted returns in order for people to come into something and invest in real estate and take a medium level risk, the returns have to substantiate that. Otherwise, you would never do it. It's opportunity cost of money. No different. If you want to attract the money into anything you do in life, the returns have to match it. So in this case, if you want to attract money, your deals have to have that at a minimum. Or they have to have 0 to 0 risk. That's not possible. Real estate is a medium risk game. So your real estate deals on the multifamily side, which is medium level risk, minimum returns of that. So that is what is going to make up a good deal. When you're doing these deal analyzers and looking at things, those are the metrics that you're going to follow. Okay. And we teach this at great detail and more nuance, but this is high level. Okay. Because we'd be here for 14 hours if we went through it all, which is totally fine too. Okay. So let's get into some basics of analyzing deals. Because one of you guys were asking about that, which I love. Miguel was asking about that. Cool. So at the end of the day, analyzing a deal, you're focusing, okay, on getting this number as high as possible. Because if you can get that net operating income number as high as possible, that is how you drive the value of any of your real estate in commercial real estate. Net operating income goes up, so does the value of your building. And the reason why is because of the formula. I'll put that actually right here. Your value formula equals NOI, horrible drawing, equals NOI over your cap rate. Value of the building equals your net operating income over the cap rate. So simple algebra, if you know 2 of the 3, you can figure the other one out. So if you have the price, let's say the broker saying, hey, we want X for the property, and then you know the income number is X per year, then you can actually derive what the current purchase cap rate is. Or the brokers, if you're trying to determine cap rates, they can give that stuff to you as well. So anyhow, the focus is this. You analyze deals to leverage and maximize net operating income. Because if you can do that, so goes the value of your building, okay? So goes the value of your building, okay? So, and this is before debt. So that's just kind of the focus of analyzing real quick. Actually, I want to go back. There we go. Let me scroll down. I was going to show you guys this. Because this is the formula, okay, when you look at any income property, right? Any income property, it follows this math formula. So any deal analyzers out there that you're looking at, we obviously have some we can give to you totally free, not a problem. But you're going to be looking at the gross potential income of the building. Let's say it was a 10 unit. Gross potential income, you're going to deduct what's called economic loss. Economic loss. This includes 4 things. Vacancy, physical vacancy on the building. In today's market, anywhere outside the coastal markets of the US, so take out New York and maybe Florida and California, right? Anywhere in the middle part of the United States outside of the coastal regions, you're saying somewhere to 8 to 12% vacancy. Your loss to lease number, the difference, what loss to lease is if your market rent were $100 and your actual rent you were getting was $90, you have a $10 loss to lease. It's the difference between market rent and actual rent, okay? But that should be 1 to 2% of your gross income. Bad debt, people don't pay their rent. People don't pay their rent. So that is going to equal, on average, 2 to 3% of your gross income. You're deducting it off the gross income number, right? Gross income less these 4. And that gets you to EGI, but you're going to add in some other income as well before you get there. Other income is going to be like pet rent, parking income, admin fees, late fees. There's all kinds of stuff. Right? There's a litany list of other income. We're not going to get into that tonight, but this is the formula. Gross income, take out these 4 items, add in some other income like pet rent, parking income, some other fees and stuff in there, right? Maybe it's laundry income. You're getting reimbursables for utilities, all of that other stuff, right? You can build that right in there. And that gets you to this number called effective gross income, EGI, effective gross income, okay? So have that. Now you're going to reduce it by your expenses. Take out property taxes, insurance, repairs and maintenance, property management fees, right? All these expense line items. And in our pro formas and any of the deal analyzers that you get, it breaks them all down. So you don't have to like memorize this stuff. I'm just giving you high level formulas for what the stuff looks like. So you can conceptualize it when you're looking at it, okay? So take out expenses. No different than home expenses in a way, but repairs, maintenance, property taxes, insurance, all these kind of expenses on the property. And you're going to get to this beautiful number of net operating income, net operating income. And that is a critical number because remember, to get to the value of your building, right? Maximize this, so goes your value. So what that means is you want to maximize your income, reduce this number, increase that number to make that number big, reduce your expenses on the property to maximize your net operating income. And if you maximize that, boom, you get rich. And that is what we teach. That's how we showcase. Because if you can just, heck, if you can just adjust to show you the power of this, if you adjusted net operating income, if you increased it just $1,000 a month, okay, on your property, that's $12,000 a year. You divide that by, let's say, a 5.5%. Remember our formula? Value equals. So I want to find out my value now. I want this number. So 12,000 bucks in NOI. That's how I'm increasing it. 12,000 a year. Divided by 0.055. Right? I have just increased the building $220,000. I literally just put $220,000 in my pocket for increasing the net operating income $1,000 a month. I mean, I need you to conceptualize that. The power of NOI is unbelievable. And once you understand that, that's how you get rich in multifamily. It's how you get rich in any rental income property for that matter. Okay. So that is simple analyzation without diving into Excel sheets with you this evening. That is how you analyze a deal. Okay. You're looking for certain metrics. Here's your metrics. And there's calculations for those. We won't get into them. And here's your formula for figuring out, income and expenses and certain things you're looking for. Any questions on this before I move on? Miguel was asking what would happen if the actual rents are less than the market rents. That happens all the time. We're dealing with it right now in certain markets. You just have a larger loss to lease number. So in that breakdown, your loss to lease number is just less. That's all that's happening. And calculating NOI, just showed you that. So I hope that answers that question. So that we kind of broke all that down for you. Okay. That's how you calculate all that. Beautiful. Any other questions before I move on? I love everybody being interactive tonight. This is great. This is what you're here for. And this is all recorded, by the way. There is a replay afterwards for you if you want. So cool. Let me keep moving on. Let's talk about the fun part. Let's raise some money, baby. Let's raise some money. All right. This is okay. When you ask people, and it was right in your guys' chats, we're going to take a quick little poll here. One more. What is your roadblocks? Which are your roadblocks? You can pick and choose many, all of them if you want. But I'm very curious what your roadblocks are at in your mind that keep you from taking the next step in multifamily. Because I've already shown you why multifamily is better than any other real estate investment, right? It's not that you don't do the other ones. You don't wholesale or flip houses. You don't Airbnb. It's not that you don't, but you need to choose a couple of them. Like I am isolated in, we flip houses and we buy apartment buildings. Flip houses, buy apartment buildings. Like that is what we do. And I stay an inch wide and a mile deep in that and become very, very, very good. Very good. And that is critical because what you don't want to do is start filtering out doing 14 things and then you get nowhere. Okay. So beautiful. Yeah. Financing and capital tends to be the biggest one for people because most folks, once we teach them how to find the deals, great. They can figure that out. Then we give them the deal analyzers and all the tools to look at them and analyze really quickly whether it's a good deal. Perfect. You can learn that pretty quickly. Now you're like, crap, I found a deal. I've analyzed it. It looks great. How do we finance and capitalize this? Perfect example. I was on the phone today with a group that's out in Georgia, and we're looking at a 131 unit deal right now. and they're looking for sponsors to come in where they're collaborating, they're putting it together and bringing the deal to the table. They're going to bring in some capital, and in conjunction with us partnering with them, that's how you take down a 130 unit deal when they couldn't do it alone. They need collaboration and partnerships, OPM. And so we can come in and help sign on the loans for them, help raise capital and put the deals together, give them our knowledge and expertise in all the different areas of running an apartment complex, and then go in and execute. And so with that, partnerships happen, okay? So beautiful. The financing and capital side, key. So I'm going to stop this and share the results so you can all see it. Sounds pretty normal. So finding the deals and financing and capital tends to be everybody's roadblocks. So very, very, very common, which I love. Yep. Love it. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about raising money. Raising money. So when you do a deal, you have debt and equity. Debt and equity, and it makes up the capital stack in a deal, right? Capital stack in a deal. So if I came in here, it's called a capital stack, right? I have my loan, that's maybe 70% of the capital stack. And then I have my equity, which is about 30% of the capital stack, okay? And if you can see that a little bit better, there we go. So 30% and 70, and this is like my equity, and this is my loan, okay? So debt and equity, that makes up raising the money. So now the question becomes, well, how do I raise the money? Well, you need a deal first, okay? You need a deal. Because without a deal, nothing goes anywhere. You can't actually attract money to the deal. You can't get a loan for a deal. The deal comes first. So it's always in this order. Deal, debt, equity. Deal, debt, equity. Go find good deals that pencil. Don't worry about the money for a minute. It will find it. Trust me. If it's a good deal that meets the metrics that I was showing you a little bit earlier, the money will find it. Good money always finds good deals. Always. It's just understanding the process of how this goes down. So sequence 1, find a good deal. Sequence 2, analyze it, make sure it makes sense. Sequence 3, package it all together. Use pitch decks and all the stuff I'm going to show you here in a minute of how you actually raise capital, structure the deals, put them together. Okay, so here we go. Debt and equity. So let's presume for a minute you got the loan, and I'll show you that in just a minute. The equity side. Equity comes from a few different sources, okay? It can come from creative financing. That includes seller financing and all of that. Investors, we talked about OPM, other people's money in conjunction with yours. We talked about combining your money in there too, and private lenders. And then down here, you know, I even throw in this, but partnerships. Kind of combines with OPM, but we partner with a lot of the mentees in our community, and mentees partner with each other because that's how you do deals, right? Partnerships and money. So that's how the equity gets brought together in those different sources, okay? Remember I kind of said this? So if you want to raise the capital, you need a deal that makes sense first. Once it makes sense and you've analyzed it, then you put all the pieces together in a pitch deck. Has anybody heard what a pitch deck is before? Raise your hand, up or down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Yes. Yes. Thumbs down. Love it. So to answer your question, a pitch deck is a 10, 20 page PDF document that showcases what the deal is, if you're bringing in investor money, how much you're trying to raise, what the minimum investment is to get into that deal, what the projected returns are for the investor you're trying to attract, and all the information about the market and all of that stuff. We have templates. We have everything. We give it all out. We have one of the best pitch decks you'll ever see in your life to raise money. And the reason I know that is because I literally stole the 5 best pitch decks and took all the best parts from them and put it into one. It's cool. It's really, 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 really good. So that is what a pitch deck is. And that pitch deck will walk a potential investor as well as a lender banker through your prospective deal. And it will give them everything they need to kind of check box and say, okay, this thing makes sense. So then the other question they may have is, do I like you and do I trust you? I'm going to give you 50 grand or 25 grand or any of this stuff. Do I like you and do I trust you that you're not going to get me on an American Greed show in 2 years because you went off and created a Ponzi scheme or something? So that's what it comes down to. It's just, hey, does the deal make sense? The pitch deck does that for them. So checkbox, good process. Now, do I like you? Do I trust you? And that's just the feel good thing. Okay. And this is why I understand people saying no money out of pocket. I get it. And yes, that's technically possible. But if you're trying to attract money in from other people, OPM, if I came to everybody on this webinar this evening and I came to you and I said, hey, I have a deal, projected returns are 18% a year on your money, and it's $25,000 minimum investment. Here's the deal, here's the property, here's what's going on, and you feel really good about it and you're ready to go. We get on a quick little phone call, and then you're like, great, Jess, I really like the deal. All stuff looks great, awesome, perfect, okay, great. So how much are you guys investing in that deal? Like, how much are you guys putting in? And if my response to you is, well, nothing, what are you probably going to think, right? I mean, the party ends right there. So something has to be in the game, even if it's little, Okay, so I want to keep going on. So deal, pitch deck, and a process, a good process. It's really, 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 really key. So let me take you through a sample deal right now. I'm going to break it down for you. This is an actual deal I pulled up, okay? This is on the market as we speak. As we speak. And this one is in Cincinnati, Ohio. On the market for $1.3 million for 22 units. $1.3 million for 22 units. So I'm going to say, screw that. We're not paying $1.3 million. We're going to pay $1.2 million. Okay? $1.2 million for a 10-unit property. It's actually 22. So let's do that. There we go. 22 unit, $1.2 million. We're going to renovate at $10,000 a unit for $220,000 for 22 units. That's $10,000 a unit. We're going to improve the property, right, to raise rents, and closing costs of say 60 grand. So we're all in, the all-in cost, right? You add these up, the all-in cost is $1.48 million. Okay, follow me, tracking me, perfect. So now the question is, okay, $1.48 million, how do we put that together? Well, you're going to go out and get a loan for about $1.1 million on that thing, and that's going to be perfect. This is going to be about a 74% loan to cost. That's your cost, right? $1.1 million, 74% loan to cost. You'll get that all day long. By the way, it is easier to get a $1.1 million loan on a commercial property than it is to go get a $200,000 house loan. Does anybody know why? Chime in the chat if you know why, and help everybody out here this evening. If you know why it's easier to get that loan than it is to go get a $200,000 house loan. I want to see if you guys understand this, because this is a critical component to the mental thing that everybody has about financing and raising money and debt and the equity and the loans and all this other stuff. Yep. DCR, based on income. That's correct. So when you buy a commercial property, let's say apartment building, and what I mean by that, 5 units or more, 4 units or less is technically residential. 5 units or more is commercial. Commercial loans use debt coverage ratio, DCR. That's how the bank is calculating whether or not they give you a loan or not. They're not looking at you personally as much. So when you go buy a house, right, they want your tax returns. They want your bank statements. They want your W-2. They want your income. They want all this stuff. They're going to dissect you until you're dead. And they want you because you are responsible for paying them. When you go get an apartment building like this, okay, the bank is looking at the property's financials. Remember that income breakdown I gave you? The bank is trying to make sure, can that income substantiate that 1.1 loan, the $1.1 million loan? And if the answer is yes, it can, you get the money. Like they'll literally throw it out the window of the bank at you. Like that's how, it's not that hard. As long as you're not a fraud, you're getting the money if the property makes financial sense, okay? So just check box that one for a minute, okay? And focus on the equity side, okay? So $1.48 million, you take out your loan, you're left with $380,000. Everybody tracking. $1.48 million, take out $1.1 million, you're left with $380,000. That's the equity. So now the question becomes, how do we put this together? And how do I do it with as little out-of-pocket cash as I can? Okay. I'm going to come in for 10%. I'm going to bring in 10%, 40 grand, right? This is for simple round numbers. We'll call it 40 grand. I am going to raise the delta. Once again, other people's money. Could be creative financing, could be partnerships, could be OPM, could be private lending, could be all these sectors for the equity. This money can be raised in multiple ways, okay? So just focus on that for a minute. So now you have that all put together, and that's how you put it together. Now here's the cool part. You remember when we talked about the different ways you get paid in multifamily? So you're buying a $1.2 million property. Let's presume it's, for simple math, let's say 3%. You're getting a 3% acquisition fee. So you brought in 40. You're getting a 3% acquisition fee based on $1.2 million. That's $36,000. What that means is, and by the way, that money, that 36 grand, it's built into your closing cost. It's already in the total cost of the property, okay? So let's come back down here for a minute. 3% acquisition fee. So 40,000 goes in. 36,000 comes back out, literally at the close of escrow, like Peter to pay Paul stuff here. 40 in, 36 out. So how much are you out? Cash out of pocket. 4 grand. And I'm not kidding, like this stuff happens all the time. All the time. This is very normal, very standard stuff. This is not like unique, some special, unique way of doing it. This is all very, very standard. Anybody that's been in multifamily or currently in multifamily understands this left and right. So love it. Okay. So now you are in control as a general partner running this 22 unit complex for $4,000 out of pocket. And I want you to calculate this. So that's way number one you just got paid. Acquisition fee. Remember the 5 ways you get paid? Number one, acquisition fee. You just got it. So now you're out of pocket 4 grand. But you have 40,000 in cash in the deal and you got 36 back out, right? So you still have your 40 in the deal, still going to earn money, but you're getting a chunk of it out from day one. So let's keep moving on. Because now I want to structure the deal for you. So now you have this $1.2 million deal. It's at the address llc.com. So that has its own LLC, the property address LLC. It's its own LLC. Okay. And the deal is going to get structured like this. I'm going to blow this up for you guys. So you're going to split it between you and your limited partners. That could be me. It could be another investor. It could be the seller doing some creative financing with them. It could be a private lender. It could be all the above. There's different ways to structure it. But you brought in 10% of the money. Remember this, right? 10%, which was actually $4,000, but you brought in really 40. Okay. So focus on that for a minute. Okay. You're really out of pocket 4, but you brought in 40. You brought in 10% of the money. You get 30% of the deal for bringing in 10% of the money, of which you really 4,000. So you own 30% of the property for $4,000. Follow me. Gets better. So over here, 70% goes to your limited partners, your investors. Like I said, it could be me. It could be the seller. It could be OPM, other people's money. It could be a private lender, right? All the above. And these numbers could be 25,000. This could be 100,000. Remember, you only got to raise 380. This could be like 75K. This could be 50K, all that stuff, okay? So that is how the deal is structured out. Now, here's the kicker. And we're going to go over on time here tonight, but this stuff is so good for you to have. We're going to keep it going, okay? So just hang in there with me. So that way I'm not racing to the finish for you guys. So here's like the holy grail. And this is what people don't get. When you are the person putting the deal together, right? You're the general partner on the deal. You get to double dip. You get to double dip. Let me explain this. So you put your money in up here. Just one more time. So you brought in the 40,000, okay? For that, you get 30% as the general partner, okay? That's what they typically call a promote, profit promote, right? There's a lot of nuance in this. Don't worry about it tonight. This is what we teach, but hang in there with me. So 40 grand. Now you raise some money from different sources down here. Your 40 grand also goes in here. So it's not, even though you're a general partner, it's not really held over here. You get the 30% for just showing up, right? If you do a good job and you produce for the investors and you get them the return you're projecting, you get your 30% like as a tip. It's like being a waitress at a restaurant, right? You served well, you did a great job, they're paying, plus you get 25, 30% tip. That's what the promote is, okay? So that's that. But you're actually earning interest on your money down here, and you are getting treated exactly as a limited partner in your own deal. You're a limited partner in your own deal. Your money's getting paid the same, returns the same. You are literally your own investor in your own deal. So you're getting this benefit of the 70%, your percentage of that, plus the double dipping over here. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I'm going to show you this in just a second and literally put it in layman's terms of what I made on a deal and all of this process broken down. Okay. So hang in there with me. Great question came in from Miguel. Do we need to add that into the operating agreement under the LLC? Yes, and it's already there. So any of your legal documents, and by the way, when people are in our community and stuff, they get the legal document samples. Everything, and it breaks it all down. So it's all in there. So, and it's templated and blah, blah, blah. It's really, really good. But yes, it's all stated in there, very standard stuff when any of this is going down. It breaks everything down because legally you have to. Because if you don't, that's how you go to jail. And nobody's going to jail here, okay? Nobody's going to jail. Everything is done legally in the way it should be, okay? So that is the structure of a deal, okay? Literally. $1.2 million deal, structured out, general partner, limited partner, right? You get that 30%, 70%'s over here, but you get to double dip in your own deal. You get both sides of the deal. That's the beauty of being a general partner. That's why you work so hard. That's why you're doing this, right? You're doing this to get a great outcome, make lots of money, have a great business, so you can do all the other pillars, right? Remember we talked about the inspiring mountains and stuff? Well, you got to have the money to do that. And this is one method to get there, right? You got to be able to do that stuff so you can do the other things you really want to do in life. Money is simply a choice and a method and a tool to get there, okay? Simply a tool. Okay, I'm going to brush over these real quick, and then I'm going to jump right to the deal I was talking about. So closing. When you deal with closing a deal, you're dealing with inspections, the legal side, the financing, and the renovations. That's closing process of a deal. Now, we have checklists for all this stuff. We have litanies of documents, document libraries, everything is part of the community that everybody gets when they come into it if they choose to. But it's incredible, and it breaks it all down. But I don't want to dive into that. Once again, that's a whole class in itself. Let's talk about the managing side. So you have two ways to manage a property. You can self-manage it, which we started doing when we got into this game years ago. We started self-managing our own deals, and we were really, really good at it. It's just when you're going to scale and grow, it becomes less efficient, especially if you're starting to manage stuff out of state, which we do. Because we're managing almost just under 600 properties in multiple states around the country. I mean, difficult to do when you're trying to self-manage. You need third-party professional property management companies. And now we're doing large deals now. You know, we're doing 80, 100 plus unit deals. So you need to third-party manage that with good companies now, okay? You can self-manage, which we did, or you third-party property manage. So that's how the management goes. Once again, have a whole other class on this thing, but I'm not going to dive into that tonight. I want to break into, I'm going to give you a sample deal that we did some time ago, and it was 31 units, and I was out of pocket 18 grand, and I was the general partner on the deal, okay? General partner on the deal. So how did this happen? Here's your breakdown. 31 units, we bought it for $1,525,000, and this was in Missouri, okay? We put $400,000 renovating the property. We had about $225,000 in closing costs in the deal, okay? We were all in at this number, 2.150, all in the deal, all cost. We went out and got a loan for 70%, about $1,500,000. That left us about $650,000 to raise in down payment equity. So how did that work? Well, okay, 70% loan, 30% equity. We brought in 64 grand, right? My company, we brought in 64 grand. 90%, $581 was brought in through our investors. And I'll kind of break that down in just a minute. but 64 grand is what we brought in. Now, remember the acquisition fee game, we got an acquisition fee of 45 grand for putting the deal together. So 64,000 came out of pocket. 45,000 came back at the close of escrow. Literally Peter to pay Paul. Okay. So we were really out of pocket $18,250 out of pocket. Okay. So what did I get for that? And this is kind of the why, I mean, this is why you're doing this. It's not to make little money. You're here to do well and make big money. So you don't do all this hard work and the stuff you're doing. Otherwise, you might as well just go do what you're doing now. You're doing this so you can have big things and do big things in your life to get to where you want to go. So what do you get for doing this? I want you to conceptualize what's going to go down here. So for $18,250 out of pocket, I had control and ownership of a 31-unit apartment deal. Okay. Because we did $400,000 in renovation, 24 months later, the building was, right, $1,525,000. When we got done with it, it was worth $3.6 million. So we did 100% cash out refinance of the property 24 months later. Literally got all of our $64,000 back, paid out all of our investors, gave them all their money out too. So 100% cash out. On top of that, we gave returns on top of that to our investors and ourselves. So now we're playing with house money. And our value is now 3.6. I'm getting an asset management fee of 1% per month on the revenue. I'm also getting 40% of the profits and the cash flow on the deal. So an acquisition fee, asset management fees, profits, cash flow, tax advantages. Remember the 5 ways? So $2,000 a month for 5 years, 120 grand. My net profits on the sale, 470,000 bucks. So $590,000 on 18,000 out of pocket. I mean, I don't know where you go to pull that one off, but that is not an uncommon scenario. That happens when you're a general partner, you're finding these deals, you're putting them together, you're working hard. And as a result of that, you get paid handsomely. You're producing well for your investors and everybody involved. You should get paid handsomely as well. And that's how the game works. Okay, that is how the game works. Great questions coming in. So to answer your question, Jarrett, it's not even 80%. So it's based on the value of the property. So think about this for a minute. If our value was 3.6 and we took a 70% loan, okay? So we pulled out 2.5 million bucks. Okay. So that's the new loan. That's the new loan on the property. Minus, we had the loan of $1 million. What was our loan on that thing? I think we were at $1.5 million. So $1 million. We paid off the previous loan, had $1 million more. Okay. So we paid off our 645. All our 645 came out. And then we had another 400 and something thousand on top of that. So that's what I say. We were only at 70% debt. Okay. 70% debt on the deal. The reason why that deal worked is because our value was so high. Like we did such a nice job renovating and raising rents, increasing the net operating income to where our value jacked up to that. That's why we were able to cash out refi at the rate we did. Typically, you wouldn't be 100% out, especially not in today's market. You're probably, depending on rates coming down where they're at, probably about a 50 to 60% cash out refi of the equity in. Okay, of the equity in. Okay. Let's see. Perfect. When you do an all-out cash out, wouldn't you do payment? Yes, the payment does go up, Chris, to answer your question. Yes, your payment goes up. The property substantiates it because the income went up too, right? So that's the only reason. Once again, remember, the bank's not giving us the loan. The bank's giving the property the loan. So as long as that property can substantiate the payment, which it did, $2.5 million loan, substantiated by the property in the income, right, from the property, gave us that loan, no problem. And now it's still rocking and rolling. So it's great. Love it. Beautiful. So that's that deal. That's that deal. Any questions? Q&A. And you know, the thing came in like so creative, but this is actually very standard practice. Like when you know how to do this stuff and you're taught well, handheld well, and you need to know these things. This is how you get rich, right? You don't do it by doing it alone. I mean, you can. I mean, some people try and figure things out alone, and that's great. And you can maybe do it, but it may cost you a lot more time and money. Just depends on what you're trying to do. At the end of the day, completely, it's your life and what you're trying to do. We just try and help people that want to be helped. So, but yeah, very, very common to do this type of stuff in multifamily. So yes, it is creative, but it's not, because it's actually very common. Property management's not 1%. Asset management, two different things. So great question came in. Why is your property management only 1%? No. My asset management fee. So I'm managing the managers. See, we have a third-party property manager being paid, in this case, on this property, about 5 to 6%. And then my fee of 1% goes on top of that to manage the managers. So I'm getting paid monthly to manage the managers, make sure everybody's got their T's crossed, I's dotted, and not doing any funny business. And I'm doing it from our entity investor level to protect the investors and protect the property and have eyeballs on the property management crews. Because if you don't watch property management companies, listen, most of them stink, right? Most PMs stink. So you got to watch them, and you have to let them know you're watching them. And then hopefully they can just do their monotonous tasking while you're watching them. So yes, so asset management is very, very common. 1 to 2%. I've seen as high as 3% before, but typically 1 to 2% of the revenue. Okay, awesome. Okay. So is your goal to always cash out, refi, or exit strategy? So here's your tip. And this was given to me by my mentor, who is Rudy Medina. And whether you like him or not, Grant Cardone, if you know Grant Cardone started in San Diego, where I'm at right now. And Rudy Medina was his partner back in the 90s and early 2000s when they started multifamily. And Grant Cardone's first 2 multifamily deals were right here in San Diego. One was a 27 unit, one was a 30 unit and a 47 unit, both in San Diego. And he did them with Rudy Medina, who's now my mentor and has basically taught me everything through and gotten us to where we're at with over 150 plus million in assets. And we're headed towards 1 billion. So I want to get to 10,000 units and $1 billion plus in assets. What is your goal? If you could chime in the chat, what is your goal as we're kind of finishing this up here this evening? I want to know what your goal is. Is it a 10 unit? Is it a 20 unit in the next 30 days, 90 days, by the end of the year? What is your goal? 10 to 30 units. Love it. 40 unit. 10 to 15. Yep. All great sizes. 20 doors. Love it. Yeah. Put up the goals and think big. You know, but these are good. For your first ones, you should be in this range because you can actually execute, and we can help you execute. And that's what we do. So 30 unit by December, 50 units in 6 months, 100 units. I love it. Who's DH? Doesn't even have your name. Can you say your name? Oh, is it? Oh, it's David. It's David. Perfect. Yeah, 100 units. Rock and roll, man. Love it. So you're touring a deal tomorrow, 36 units. Cool. Okay. Well, if you guys like communities, we have a community. You know, and that's what, like I mentioned, at the end of the day, that's why I even do what I do. People ask, why do you teach this stuff? Why are you doing this stuff, Justin? You're successful at what you're doing. You're 100% right. I don't need to teach this stuff, but I teach it because we're creating a community of well-trained investors around the country who are doing deals together. And that is the collaboration and the partnerships that go down. That is what it is all about. That's how ultimately we can try and get to 10,000 units, because there's deals that we can't see that our community brings. There's deals that we're helping them out with. Everybody's right, strategizing, collaborating, and partnering. That is what a community is designed to do, and then help each other out. So the mentorship community is what it is all about. Is there anybody in here that'd be interested in a mentorship community or a community in general of learning how to do this stuff and getting taught closely in an intimate relationship of, hey, how do you do this stuff and move the needle for yourself based on all of your goals? Because it sounds like a lot of you have these big goals, and I love them, and they're great. And you can certainly watch a ton of YouTube videos and try and figure it out on your own. No problem. But for folks that actually want a bit of that guidance and hand-holding in an intimate setting, we can certainly help you out. And if you are interested, I'm going to throw this up. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to put this into everyone. Okay, so I'm putting a link into the chat, okay? That is how you can book a strategy call. No high sales, no nothing like that. It's literally just to share with you what the community is, see if it's of interest to you, and kind of showcase it to you. Because what we have, just so you're aware of it, and I'll lay it straight out. And we're doing something kind of special tonight if you guys want it, okay? So we have a mentorship community. It's a lifetime, okay? Comes with a 90-day guarantee. Okay. And you're getting mentored by me. Okay. Not some random hired coaches out there in the universe that don't know what they're doing. They're not executing every day. Just like this happened tonight is how we're going to work together if you choose. Okay. Normally this runs $7,800. Okay. Don't worry about the money for a minute. Focus on the outcome. What you're trying to achieve, focus on the outcome and getting it done fast and getting it done the right way. But for the folks that have interest, we're going to cut that off. And for everybody that's interested tonight, we're going to take $1,000 off, but you have to book your phone call tonight. You don't have to take the phone call tonight, but book it for, whether it's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, whatever it is, just book the phone call and we can discuss. Open discussion about what it is, how it can help you, all of that stuff. I'm also going to share this with you to let you know what is actually fully included in it. So that way you can see that, okay? So here is the link to the actual landing page for the community, right? Shows you what it is. For everybody that's interested right now, privately, just put your name and your phone number in the private chat. Don't send it out to everybody. Just your name and your phone number in the private. You can send it to host and panelist, I think, and that way it doesn't go to everybody. If you have interest in this, and then you have the links, book your phone call for Wednesday or Friday or Saturday of this week, and that way you can get this benefit, okay? Because we're not going to give out a bunch of slots. It's just for the specific people on this webinar. We're going to cut off $1,000 if you are interested, and it's everything you like. Once again, don't focus on the money, focus on the outcome for a minute. If it's everything you're looking for, and you believe it's going to get you to where you want to go, great. You make a decision and you go, or not. Completely up to you. But I think it's an incredible opportunity if you have interest. And that's what we're here to do, is give you a ton of value, which is what we did. Going through all this stuff, guys, all this stuff, and showing you how you can execute on this in the next 90 days. And I wish we had 4 hours to sit here and do it. We just don't. But we can definitely help you guys out. And I hope it was a ton of value that you got from it. If it was a ton of value, put a thumbs up if you felt this was a huge benefit for you and you got a lot out of it. Because I'm just trying to give an enormous amount of value out there. Also, what we're going to do in addition to that, for free, right when you have your phone call, right after it, we're going to send you a multifamily toolkit. In that toolkit, it's going to have the deal analyzer that we use, that we give out. It's going to have a pitch deck, the really nice pitch deck, and a host of other little tools and kind of getting started toolkit for multifamily. So that way, if you don't even decide to do anything, not a problem. You get a free, awesome toolkit. Come into the community and be part of it. Okay, because we have a free community, and then we have the mentor community where everybody's doing stuff together. So, so to answer your question, Brennan, we have a WhatsApp community. That's where everybody's at for the mentorship. We also have it similar to school. If you're familiar with school at all, we have one similar, but it's through our private platform that you come into if you're a mentee. Okay, so both of those communities very active. I'm in there every day. I literally was sending deals in there today that I was finding stuff when I was going through, because I get a lot of pre-market stuff that's coming through my emails from the relationships I built. And if it's in the deal size under 50 units and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll send it off and put it in the chat for people to analyze and take a look at, in addition to the stuff they're already doing on top of that. So yeah, so it's similar to school for the community, but then we have an actual WhatsApp chat group too, but it's all private for the mentees. Correct. I don't know the exact post per week, but it's a decent amount. Like, people are chatting in there all the time. But yeah, great question. Great name, by the way, too. So, cool. Love it. Great. I wasn't sure what the Craig Wilson, if you're still on here, you put like an ice face in the oh, you sent it to us in the panelists. I don't know what that means. If it's a cool emoji or ice cold, I don't know. But in any event, love to be a resource for you guys. Cool. Yeah, so Kevin, if you go on that link, because I know you put something in here, that's great. If you want to go onto the link that we shared up above, I'm going to share it again, so that way you can go in there and book a phone call with us. So we can hop on the calls with you and kind of just go over this and see if it's a good fit or not, and be here to help you out. It's one, Jared. It's one. If we're giving you there's two ways to do it. If you want to do the payments, okay, then unfortunately it's the 7,800. Okay, so because we can't give the discount and a payment plan. So, but if you want to do a payment plan, we do have options for that depending on your current situation. It depends. We customize it. But yeah, once again, I don't want money to get in the way of people. I want you to focus. Let's focus on outcome and getting you to where you want to go first. And if you believe that it can help you do that, then great. We'll figure out the money side. Okay, we'll figure out the money side. But yeah, we can't do both. So if we're giving you the discount, it's got to be the payment in full. If you want a payment plan, that's maybe an option depending on your current situation. But most people, they want the discount. So awesome. Any other questions? Let's get into the Q&A. I mean, I can even bring a couple of you up on screen if you want. Anybody want to come up on screen and talk with me right now? If you want to, just maybe raise your hand or put a little thumbs up in the chat, and I'll bring you on to chat if you guys want to. Because we'll take a few more minutes. We'll go a few more minutes here. There was one question that actually came in the Q&A. How do you feel about government-funded tenants? So that's called Section 8, or housing, however you want to classify it. Different communities call it different things. But Section 8 housing's fine. We don't do that, and here's why. If you are going to get into that business model, which you can do well in, you have got to be really, really, really good at your screening process. Because unfortunately, Section 8 tenants, right? Fine, low income, happy to help. Unfortunately, they don't come with the best mindset for taking care of your property. So you just got to be real careful with that when you're doing it. And it's a whole business model in and of itself. So what you don't do is just do a little one-off properties here or there with Section 8. You're either all in on it or your market rate. I would not mix. So it's completely different business models. It's lifetime access to all the community, the chat, the systems, the tools, all the lessons, all the education, all the libraries, everything. It's a 12-month mentorship with me and our team. And I'm the one teaching the weekly mentorships. It's not some hired coach, because it's really important that this community is well trained, because ultimately at the end of the day, we all want to partner. I would love to partner with you. I'm hoping maybe you'd want to partner with me. Let's all go out and find deals together and do bigger deals together. That is the ultimate goal behind the entire concept. It's not just about mentorships and courses. That's a piece of the puzzle, because you need to be well trained. But the big goal, right, is 10,000 units for me. What is yours? 100 units, 50 units, 500 units? Let's get you there. Let's get you there. How long will you be doing mentorships? Probably till I'm dead, to be honest with you. I get fulfillment out of it. Great question, Craig. Yeah. Yeah. How long I get fulfillment. Keep in mind, remember this. When I brought this up in the beginning. So mine, right? So it's like one, it's not even really in this order, but that. So these are mine. Successful business in multifamily, buying apartments, doing all that stuff, getting rich, a multimillionaire doing that. Then we can come over here and educate, create an awesome community of well-trained investors around the country that are doing deals together, learning, but also doing deals. That's what we want. Education. Then you come over here, we can utilize media. That's how you found me. And then here, because we give back a ton, Tunnels to Towers, Seal Future Foundation, right? We give back to a Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude Hospital, disadvantaged kids that need help because they didn't have a good upbringing. So the family, my personal family, I got 2 beautiful kids and great family, and I love it. So the family is really, really important. And then on the philanthropy side as well. Yeah. So, yeah, Jared, let's talk about that. Let's figure that out and have a phone call about it. Because yeah, you do need some capital, guys. You have to understand you do need some capital, and that's probably a requisite here. But you do need some capital to get started, right? Because to do a deal, we talked about it, you need 15, 20, 30, 40,000. I think that kind of speaks for itself. So if you're somewhere in here, right, you have to have this available to you. Okay. So this comes important. And then, of course, yeah, you got to get educated and mentored. So, yeah, you have the 7,800. But once again, there's options for that if the full pay is not there, because we need to make sure you're executing here. There are some customized options for that. Don't let the money hold you back. It's very easy to allow yourself to do that, but then you're just going to be cycling in the same thing you're doing now. Sometimes you got to get to the edge of the cliff. I don't know if you've ever heard of this thing called the amygdala and the frontal cortex. Right? The amygdala is literally biologically is designed to hold you back and stop you and keep you safe. The frontal cortex is the thing right now that's getting you excited. Like, let's go. You know you need to do this, and you should. But then your amygdala is going, oh, wait a minute. Oh, stay safe. Oh, don't do that. Oh, do this. Oh, right. It's doing that like naturally. So you have to tell this to go pound sand. I could use more explicit language, but I won't. Just go tell it to pound sand. Allow the frontal cortex to drive you because you know where you want to go. Focus on the outcome of where you're trying to go and get there as fast as you can, because that's what we're designing this to do. That's why we put in a 90-day guarantee inside of it. That's why we're trying to help you out, get you to where you want to go in a fast pace and get the outcome you're desiring. That's what we're designing this to be about. Okay. Awesome. Does business credit count? Yeah, you can use business credit to go into these deals. Sure you can. Sure you can. Yeah, great question. How do you get the pitch decks? So, Neil, we have what we could probably do, and I think I have access to it. I think we have your name and email here. So what we'll do is when this ends this evening, we'll send it to you. I think we have a link for that where you can have just the pitch deck. Totally fine. That's not a problem. So Kevin, if you can mark that in here, and then we'll get that out as we're kind of monitoring the chats here. So awesome. This is my mental roadblock. Sorry, Jared, I saw that. That's good. Listen, we all have mental roadblocks. We all have it. And yeah, saving for the down payment for the deal. I know, need to mentor. Yeah, it's lifetime. I mean, you have access to this thing. So you're in the community, you're here. So depending on your timing, it's totally up to you, but you're here. Yeah, totally get it. Yeah, so I mean, if you want to get on a phone call, let's chat about it and figure something out that may make sense for you. And then also put a game plan in place for, this type of stuff here. Because obviously that's important so you can help execute on a deal for yourself. Awesome. All right, everybody, we are coming to the end right around 7, just before 7:30. We went over tonight, but that's okay. I'm glad everybody had a great time. I hope everybody's interested. And if not, come on back and we will continue to add value to everybody here. So really appreciate everybody's time for coming on in. This was awesome. This is what it's all about. Any last questions before we end up? Otherwise, salute. God bless America. Let's go make it happen. Thanks, everybody.